Yeah, welcome back to Fire and Water Cooking. I'm Darren, of course, and today I got two briskets here that we're going to cook up on the Keveri H1, and we're going to do each one a little bit different, and each one of these is a little bit different, and I'll go over that in just a minute. I'll be right back.
Smoking, grilling, getting hot and hotter, sous vide and chilling from Fire and Water.
Alright guys, like I said, each of these is a little bit different, and we are going to cook it on the Keveri H1. We are going to do it hot and fast, so I'm not going to do a 14-hour cook. We're going to cook these at a hotter temperature initially until they reach that 160 or 165 stall. Then we're going to wrap them up, put them back in there, and let them finish up to get to over 200 so we can slice them up. But each of these briskets is just a little bit different here. So this one here is from Costco, and I went ahead and let this wet age in the cryovac for a good 2.5 weeks, because one of the things with Costco, when they're bulk meat, they don't actually age it at all. They just let it from the processor, they process it, they let it hang for like a day, and then they cut it up and send it out to the stores for further processing. So they really don't age their meat well, their beef especially. So I let this sit in the cryovac for about 2.5–3 weeks just to get some age to it. Now this here brisket here is a full packer brisket from Porter Road Meat Purveyors Online, and they tout that their meat's always at least 2 weeks aged. So that's kind of what I did. I kind of want to compare these two. If you look, the Porter Road looks a little bit darker than the Costco brisket, even though this one I let age for a good 2.5 weeks in my fridge. One of the differences here, now the Porter Road brisket is a lot more expensive for sure. It's because it's mail order, they got the shipping to go through, but also they charge more because it's an online, and their meat supposedly is a lot better than what you can get from the commodity farms. So they do charge a little bit more. As you can see, it's a little bit thinner, flatter. There wasn't as much to trim on this one. I don't know if they kind of pre-trimmed them or if they're, the cow just didn't have as much fat on it. I did have to trim a good amount off the Costco brisket, so they might have been closer to the same price, or at least, you know, getting closer to it. Maybe not the same exact, with all the fat I had to trim off the Costco brisket, because that all factors into your price per pound. But we're going to go ahead and season these up. I'm going to do the Costco one with this brisket rub that I got from Gabrick. I got this online a while back and just to test it out. And I'm going to go ahead and use it. I haven't used it yet. It's got salt, pepper, garlic, onion, a little bit of everything in it. It's not just salt and pepper. So that's why I thought I'd use it. It's got some paprika, turmeric, all kinds of different stuff. So we'll use that on the Costco. And on the Porter Road, we're going to use my black garlic and coffee seasoning. So I'm going to go ahead and get my fire started, get that going. Then we're going to season these up and let them sit until that fire gets up and going. I'm going to, like I said, this is going to be a hot and fast. So I'm going to actually get the fire up to about 350 or so, maybe closer to 375. For the first initial cook. So I'll be back, guys. All right, guys, so I got my Keveri set up. I am going to use the ThermoWorks Signals with the Billows again, and the reason is I want that fan to kick that temperature up all the way. Since we're going to be cooking it hot and fast, I want it to be over 350. I want it to settle in at like 375 or so. So I want this to be get hot fast. So that's what that fan's going to do. The fan's going to blow on that fire to get it going. So first thing I got to do though is open this bad boy up, pull out my fire box. Now I do have it all set up already with charcoal, and I got a little mix of pecan and cherry wood there, and I'm going to get this fire going like I did before. I'm going to light it right on this side here, and that's where the fan's going to hit it. I'm going to pull it out a little bit farther. Hopefully it doesn't slide out and fall on the ground. But I don't want to burn this part with my grill gun. But the grill gun is actually one of the fastest ways to get this fire going when you're cooking on any of these pits. So I'm going to go ahead and get that going. Alright guys, now you could use a charcoal chimney or fire starters, however you want to do it. This is the way I prefer to do it. I think it's a lot faster for me to get going here. So, like I said, it's going to be blowing right where that fire was lit. Going to go ahead and get this turned on, and we're going to wait till it gets up to temp. Hopefully it won't take too long. I got the top vent all the way open, and that fan's going to get that fire going pretty quick. All right, let's go season up those briskets. All right, guys, that fan is blowing. All right, so like I said, I'm going to go ahead and season these up. The Costco brisket here, I'm going to use this Gabrick brisket rub seasoning. I think it's out of Texas, but I don't know, guys. If you're familiar with Texas brisket and how all those Texas barbecue guys say, oh, you need salt and pepper. Well, this has got a lot more than salt and pepper in it. So, and they're from Texas, so sometimes adding more than salt and pepper, it's different. I don't say one is better than the other, but this one has more than salt and pepper in it. So I'm going to go ahead and just put a nice big coat on both sides of this. I'm not going to bore you for the whole thing, but I'm going to use a lot of it because we're going to be cooking this hot and fast. I'm not brining or pre-brining these. I'm not letting them sit. I'm going to put this probably in the pit not long after I get these seasoned up. Okay, so that's one side of that. So on the other, this is the Porter Road brisket over on this side. I'm going to use my black garlic and coffee seasoning. It's going to have a little bit different flavor, but I wanted to make a little bit of a variety for these kids tomorrow. And that's it, guys. We're just going to put a nice coat on both sides. And we're going to let it cook hot and fast. All right, guys, I'm going to flip these over, season them, but I'll see you when I'm putting them on the pit. All right, guys, so I'll show you how I got this set up. So as I said, guys, I have my ThermoWorks here with the Signals. It's a Wi-Fi base, so I'll be able to control it from my phone. In the Billows fan, that's actually going to control the temperature of the pit. The fan is set high right now. It's actually blowing pretty strong. I got this vent on the top opened up all the way. The temp's climbing. It's right at about 145 right now, climbing fast. I do have my thermometer in there measuring the internal temp, and it's climbing pretty quick. I've got that set right here towards the front on the second rack. Now I've got 3 racks in here. I've got my smoke controller here on the bottom rack that's going to make it so it's indirect heat. I do have a pan here that I'm going to use to catch some of that fat that's going to be dripping. I don't want it all to go into the fire, cause flare-ups and stuff. So that pan's going to catch some of that. I'll have a brisket on this rack and a brisket on this rack, and this is where it's going to monitor that temp from, which is right where that heat's going to be coming out from around that smoke controller. So that's it, guys. I'm going to let this get up to temp for a little bit longer. Then we'll put those briskets on, and I'll be back when we're doing that. All right, guys, so the fire is up over 250 already. So I'm going to go ahead, and the way I'm going to put these briskets on, and the thing I like about the Keveri here, I can take the whole racks out. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take that top rack out. I'm going to put this brisket right on it. It's going to fit there fine. And we're going to put it right back in. I'm using gloves, guys, that are heat. They will cover up some of the heat. And I'm going to go ahead and take this other one out that has a thermometer on it. We'll take it out. It'll probably set the alarm off for a second. But we're going to do the same thing. That one's a little bit hotter. We're going to go ahead and put it right on the rack. I'm going to use my pot holders because a little bit of that heat still in there. It's pretty hot. So I'm going to go ahead, put this back in. I know you guys can't see it, but I'm putting my thermometer back in to monitor that temp. Got to get it away from the brisket. And there we go. Closing it back up. And that's it, guys. We're going to start cooking those, and I'll see you back when we're checking the temp. Guys, I just realized I didn't show you that I did indeed put those thermometers in the meat to monitor the temp of the meat. So that's going to be on the first and second channel of this, and as you can see, and the fourth channel is the temperature of the smoker. And I got it set to right around 355, so if I have to change that, get it hotter, I'll do it later on. We're going to let it run right at 355, see how it does. I'll be back. All right, guys, just wanted to show you the app here showing you the internal temps of both of the briskets and how it's controlling the temp. Just a little bit over the 355 mark, but it'll stay just around there. So good job so far. I'll see you in a while. All right, guys, they've hit. One of them's over 165, and one's sitting right at 161, getting ready to hit 162 internal. So I'm going to go ahead and take them both out. We're going to wrap them up. I'm going to crank the temperature down on this, okay? So we've been right around 350. Right now it's sitting at 345, but I'm going to turn it down to around 275. That's how we're going to finish this up, wrapped in foil. But let's take a quick look at them while I got you here. Woo! Hear them sizzling. Turn that off. But let's give you a close up of that, just so you guys can get a good look at the bark on that. Check that out. And this is on the Porter Road. It was a little bit thinner. So this is the one that's temping at about 167, 168, because it's a little bit thinner than the Costco. Here's your Costco brisket as well. So that's just over right at 162. Both of them got a really good bark on them. So we're going to go ahead and wrap them up and crank the heat down right around 275 to finish it out, till we get up to that over 200, maybe about 205, 206 to finish them today. I'll be back. All right, guys, we're just going to wrap these up with a little beef stock in there so they can braise and get to the over 205 mark. I want these nice and tender when we get done. All right, guys, about 2 hours later, it's one of the thinnest Porter Road one is actually getting closer to the temp, but we're going to leave it in there just for a couple more minutes. We'll take that one out, let it rest, and then we'll let the other one finish at about 205. All right, guys, both these briskets are done, and I'm going to go ahead and get my other glove on here. I'm going to go ahead and cut them open for you. They've been resting now. The one skinnier one from Porter Road that got done first, it's been sitting just a little bit longer, maybe about 10-15 minutes. The other one's been sitting about 8 minutes or so. Didn't take much longer for that to get up to temp. One of the good things about the Keveri, guys, it actually cooked 2 full packer briskets hot and fast with 1 load of coal and the fire. I did put a couple more pieces of smoking wood in there, but that was just to be safe. I probably could have just done it without it. It was starting to, the temperature was starting to drop on its own towards the end there. So, but right at about 5.5 hours. So let's go. Let's go ahead and get this open. I put these on a pan because you can tell there's a lot of moisture still here. So I'm going to open these up. This is the Costco thicker brisket. Just going to go ahead and open it up. Try not to get a whole lot of the juice on the cutting board. I just want to pull this thing out. It's definitely tender. Feels like Jello. There's a lot of juice left in there. I'm going to leave that on the side here. I might use that for some au jus, because like I said, this is for tomorrow for a church event. So I'm going to put it in a pan, put it in the refrigerator, and overnight. Tomorrow morning I'll heat it up with some of that au jus. Okay, so that's our Costco brisket. Oop. I'm going to go ahead and move some stuff out of the way. Hey. And then get this Porter Road dry aged thinner brisket up here. A lot of juice in that one too. Alright, and that's the one that has the coffee rub on it. Put these both over here. I don't want to spill any of that juice. So there you have it, guys. Look at this. This is the Costco brisket, and this had the brisket rub from Gabrick from Texas. It's a little bit lighter. You can see that. This had my black garlic and coffee rub. A little bit darker. Like I said, this one was a little bit thinner, and it got done a little bit sooner. But I'm going to go ahead. It looks like the grain's running that way. So I kind of want to turn this so you guys can see me slice it. And it's pretty, definitely pretty, this is the flat and some of the point. Pretty tender there. Folds over great. Got a decent smoke ring to it as well. So as far as the Porter Road stuff, guys, I would say it's kind of more like the CAB, Certified Angus. So it's more, not really prime, but kind of in between a prime and choice. But you can see, guys, that did a great job on this brisket. This was hot and fast, still plenty of juice and moisture. Still juicy, not dry. Wow, that's pretty good. Can't complain at all. The rub's pretty awesome, if I do say so myself. It's got a totally different flavor profile, but awfully done there, guys. Still nice and juicy. I'm going to go ahead and this is the flat side here of this one, so I'm going to cut. Birds flying over there. Same thing. Nice and done, nice and juicy. Nice little smoke ring here. Not a ton of smoke ring, but you know, it's what I could expect. I wasn't using a offset, just cooking just over wood, so this is just with smoking wood. But both of these turned out pretty good, guys. So I have to say, the $10 a pound is just as good as the $7 or $8 a pound brisket here. Both good. The Costco one, like I said, a little bit more fat to it when I had to trim it, but still, I think it's just as good, if not better, because it has a bigger point section. Check it out. Wow. Alright, guys, I gotta cut this up and put it in the pan so I can have it for tomorrow for that event. But that's even a bigger, thicker slice, and it's still folding over just right. Thanks for watching, guys. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram. Check out the Fire and Water Cooking Edible Creations on Amazon, Walmart.com, on our website at Fire and Water Cooking. Like, subscribe, share. I'll see you on the next one. Check out the Keveri H1 on Amazon as well. Great cooker, guys. Does a lot of things. So far, hot and fast brisket, it does excellent. I'll see you on the next one.